All right, in today's analysis, we're going to cut right through all the market noise to look at a really fundamental shift that's happening right now. Some are calling it the crypto purge. We're going to dig into why this is happening and what a strategic flight to quality actually looks like for investors in the know. So let's get right into it. So let's kick things off with the big question, the one that's probably on every crypto investor's mind. Is alt season, the one we all remember, is it dead for good? Is that whole era of explosive across-the-board rallies, is it really over forever? That's the big mystery we're diving into today. To really understand where we're headed, we've got to look back. We need to talk about the era that's now kind of fading away. Let's revisit that old crypto playbook that made so many fortunes and maybe lost a few too.
Ah, yeah, the glory days. It really wasn't that long ago that the dream of just insane gains, we're talking 50x, 70x, you name it, was a reality. It felt like you could pick almost any altcoin and it was like cashing a winning lottery ticket. But the analysis we're looking at today suggests that whole era has come to a very definitive end.
Okay, so now let's pull the camera back, let's zoom out, because what happens in crypto doesn't just happen in a bubble. It is deeply, deeply connected to the crazy, turbulent global macro environment we're all trying to figure out. So here's the bottom line. We are in a period of some serious instability. You've got governments running massive deficits, which just devalues currencies. You've got central banks kind of losing their independence. And on top of all that, geopolitics are being used to straight up manipulate the markets. It is an absolute minefield out there. And this slide right here shows that manipulation in action. It's a perfect example. So take March 30th. Threats come out of Iran. What happens moments later? The market freaks out. S&P 500 futures take a nosedive. This breaks some key technical levels, and that's the signal for the institutional, smart money to swoop in and buy up everything on the cheap. And then, like clockwork, there's an announcement about a willingness to negotiate, and boom, the market rallies. The source material makes it clear this isn't a coincidence, it's a playbook, it's a pattern. So, with all this chaos, every single investor is being forced to make a really critical decision. When you boil it all down, it's a choice between two completely different paths for your money. Now, what I love about this slide is how stark the comparison is. It just lays it all out. On one hand, you've got stocks. They can generate real cash flow, dividends, earnings. And funny enough, the best time to buy is often when everyone else is panicking. Then you have altcoins. They produce zero cash flow. Their buy signals are all about hype, hope, and narratives. And their biggest risk, the one that hangs over everything, is this massive structural problem of dilution, which we are about to get into. Let's just really hammer this point home, because it's crucial. With stocks, you can literally get paid to wait. Dividends are actual cash that shows up in your account. That provides a cushion, a real return on your investment, even when the market is down. Most crypto assets, they just can't do that. And that brings us to the absolute core of the problem, what this analysis is calling the purge. And look, this isn't just a normal market downturn. This is a fundamental mathematical crisis. It's death by dilution, and it is changing the entire game for altcoins. Just look at that number. Over 47 million different crypto tokens exist right now. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't just growth. It's a hyperinflation of assets. And as you're about to see, this creates a fatal flaw for the market as a whole. This chart really puts that insane number into perspective. If you go back to the 2017 cycle, you had fewer than 100,000 tokens, all fighting for investors' money. Fast forward to today, and we're staring down the barrel of 47 million. The supply of crypto projects has just exploded, but the supply of money from investors, not so much. And right here, this is the brutal, honest-to-goodness conclusion. There is simply not enough money in the world to pour into 47 million different things and create another one of those old-school alt seasons where everything just skyrockets. As the source material puts it, it's a mathematical impossibility. The math just doesn't work anymore. So you might be asking, how on earth did we get here? Well, first, it costs nothing to play. AI can spin up a new token in seconds. It's practically free. Second, you have these super cheap networks like Solana and Base that became the perfect breeding ground. And third, these basically empty projects are then pushed hard by influencers, and they're really only designed for one thing, to suck capital out of the pockets of everyday investors. And the result of this token tsunami? It's devastating. More than 40% of all altcoins are sitting at their all-time lows right now. This isn't just a little dip. The data shows this is a structural breakdown that is actually worse than what we saw in the depths of the 2022 bear market. This is a quiet but very real purge.
Okay, so if the broad altcoin market is just a massive minefield of dilution and risk, where does the smart money go? Well, that leads us right into the final piece of this analysis, the flight to quality. Now, for the traditional stock market, the strategy is actually pretty simple, but it's powerful. It's all about using fear to your advantage. When the VIX, which everyone calls Wall Street's fear gauge, spikes above 30, that's a signal of extreme panic. And historically, buying and accumulating the S&P 500 during those moments of peak fear has been, and I'm quoting the source material here, pure gold for building long-term wealth. And this right here is the key takeaway, no matter what market you're in. Real lasting wealth isn't built by chasing hype when everything's at the top. It's built by having the courage and the plan to buy quality assets when everyone else is panic selling. And here's what's so fascinating. This exact same flight to quality is happening right now, inside the crypto market itself. Capital is fleeing that endless sea of altcoins, and it's consolidating into the most established, most secure asset there is. You can see it clear as day in Bitcoin's market dominance. It's shot up to 57%. It's basically become the digital safe haven in its own volatile world. So who actually survives this purge? Well, this analysis suggests that the capital is going to focus on a tiny handful of projects. We're talking about the big dogs, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few others like BNB and XRP that have major infrastructure, long track records, and, this is the most important part, deep institutional backing to help them ride out the storm. And that right there is the absolute game changer. What separates these few from the other 47 million is that institutional support. We're talking about things like market makers, regulated ETFs. That provides a level of stability and deep liquidity, a fundamental backing that the vast, vast majority of altcoins just don't have. And all of this leaves us with one final question for you to really think about. In this totally new, much more challenging financial world, where are you going to place your capital? Will your approach be guided by the hope of catching that next 100x meme coin, or by a clear, data-driven strategy? The choice, as they say, is yours. Thanks for tuning in.